Behind the Mirror of Music with Dannii Cohen.
Hello and welcome to Behind the Mirror of Music. My name is Dannii Cohen. This week's guest is Yngve Gasoy-Romdal. Yngve Gasoy-Romdal is known around the world for creating the role of Mozart in Mozart Das Musical, in both the original Vienna production and the Germany premiere. He also starred in Les Miserables, Sunset Boulevard, Cats, Jekyll and Hyde, Jesus Christ Superstar, Beauty and the Beast, Drei Musketiere, Evita, The Count of Monte Christo, Dr. Zhivago, and much more. He also worked with Andrew Lloyd Webber to recreate the role of Raoul in the revised version of Love Never Dies for the Germany premiere. I hope you will enjoy the show.
There. Are we there?
Yes, we are.
Oh, fantastic.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Well, in Germany. I'm in Germany and yeah, at home for some days. Yeah. But it's really nice. You wanna, have a chat. It's I've been so long in the business. Started almost with my diapers on. So yeah. Yeah.
Well, you had a really long CV.
I know. It's always a problem, when I do new shows. They can't put it in. So then what do you put in? And it's so boring just to put all the roles you've done. But yeah. Yeah, I've been blessed and been lucky and worked from beginning on. I started in with in Oslo on the conservatory there, or Musikhochschule. It's above the conservatory in Norway. So I started there and was supposed to become a classical singer. But right after just a couple of months, I got my first main role in the Norwegian theater in Oslo, and since then I've been working. And I tried to go back and to study at, the same when I did Les Mis, Jean Prouvaire and Marius in Les Mis. That was the year after, and so they tried to help me, the school and the theater, so I could study at the same time, but it was too difficult, to work and rehearse and then school at the same time. So I jumped off and then then I worked the whole time in Oslo and then Sweden and England and Germany and stuff like that.
How did your love for music and theater start?
My grandfather was a composer and violinist and conductor in the community around that area where my mom grew up from, and it was a church organist as well in that beautiful church, so sort of it was. And my father is a artist, a painter, so it's always been in my blood, I guess. So with the 7 years, I started with the violin, play the violin, and then became trumpet and trombone and different instruments, in the different orchestras. And then I also, as a boy, I started to sing, with a boy soprano. And in the dome there in Molde, it's called, the city in Norway. Beautiful, beautiful city. And it was a fantastic time, you know. We did all these church plays, and I had several of these lead roles as a young soprano. But then I just loved the singing, yeah, and then the joy of later, you know, to fantasize in operas and then later in musicals, you know, all these fantastic roles and stories, you know, that you can just jump into and escape the daily reality maybe and life and so then yeah, it just continued like that and yeah, I was also a church organist in my, you know, around the county up there, and played in all different orchestras and even conducted a little bit as a young, yeah, you know, teenager, of course. But so that was my reality. I sort of skipped school. You know, where I came from, you had to take a ferry to go to the city, you know. So it was a small, beautiful village, Vikebukt it's called. And so I always came home late, you know, 12 or 1 o'clock in the night or in the morning then. And then you have to wake up at 5:30 to go to school, you know, to take the bus or ferry to go. So poor teachers, you know. But that was my way of learning, I guess, and my school, you know, until I came after gymnasium. Then when you're 18 and you're 17, 18, when you start the university, the conservatory, and stuff like that.
What was your
And
first major role?
that was well, as a professional, you mean?
Yes, professional.
Professionally at the Norwegian theatre. That was a fairy tale, new written musical of Helge Iberg, and Bringsvær was the author. Very famous people, fantastic artists, and I played a fairy tale character called Askeladden, wonderful character that everyone knows in Norway. So yeah, I was a main character in that piece. A wonderful thing, but hard. It was hard. I came into the Norwegian theatre, which is one of the two national theatres, basically in Norway, and of course, it was not easy for the older, established actors to see that a young actor or singer, you know, almost straight from the street, getting picked up to play a lead role. And that's what they also said. You know, there was a huge meeting in the theater, I remember, where the actors, yeah, they didn't like the director, regisseur, and also they said, why do you pick, you know, him, you know, straight from the street when there are so many actors who studied for 4 or 6 years, you know. And maybe they're also right, but I got picked, you know, and I got wonderful reviews. And after, you know, after the premiere, then those people who, you know, tried to push me down, you know, in front of everyone, you know, in the theater. We were sitting in the auditorium, and I thought, oh my God, is this the theater world, you know? Ruthless, you know?
Yes.
But after the premiere, those persons who tried to push me down, they always, you know, females, women, they, you know, they always wanted to sit in my lap when we had gatherings, you know, and anyhow, we became friends after. But I'm just saying it because it's tough. You have to be tough in the business, you know. because most of the time it's very hard work, you know. If there are any young ones who wants to be in the business, you know, the party life is 1% of this thing. You don't go into this to have to be world famous and to be you know, just to have a party life. It's such a hard work, you know.
Absolutely.
To you work on yourself and you work on your voice, you work on your craft the whole time, and you have to be you have to have a thick skin. On the other side, you have to have a thin skin, you know, because that's what you use as an actor. So yeah, well, that was my beginning.
When did you begin to start working internationally?
Yes. When?
Yes, when?
Well, I am pretty fast actually. I did some main roles in at the Norwegian theater and in Levay, and the first piece that I did, Askeladden.
I also saw Phantom.
And Phantom, yeah, I did. Ken Hill's Raoul there. And some other things, wonderful things with fantastic colleagues, you know. And I loved to hang out with the older, you know, legendary actors, you know.
Or
And we went to all these, you know, oh, not all these. It was one club in a legendary club in Oslo, Casino, it's called. You know, you go in there and you go down a horrible stairs, you know, and it stinks so badly from, you know, alcohol and God knows what, you know. But down there in the basement, there are all those huge, fantastic actors, actresses, you know, were always sitting after the show, and they always brought me there, you know. And they drank a lot, and I tried to hang up with them, you know. And sometimes good God, you know, I was so, you know, young, and I sometimes I was so wasted that I remember I was singing opera arias walking up the park, you know, by the castle there, you know, in Norway. I don't know if you know how Oslo is built. And sometimes I woke up in the morning in the park, you know, horrible that I'm telling these things, and how I managed to then do shows the days after, you know. I don't know. Now I can hardly, you know, take one beer, and I feel dizzy, and I'm worried about the next day, you know. But anyhow, so there, Oslo, and then after that, I got married in Sweden, in Stockholm, and I got my first TV role there in the biggest series in Scandinavia at that time. It was just one big series at that time, you know. And so I played there for 2 years, and it was a weird experience, you know, from, you know, when you start doing TV.
yes.
And that's when you realize how that affects people, you know. When it started, you know, I couldn't walk out in the street right away. One had to write, you know, autographs and photos. Oh, that was weird. So I went back to Oslo again and worked a little bit in a theater there. And at the same time, they flew me to Stockholm to shoot for this series. So I was back and forth and learning the texts on the plane. Oh, it was a fantastic time. And then after that, I yeah, I started in Denmark, and then a very good friend of mine, Hugh Wooldridge in London, a fantastic man, theater man, director, and also producer and true theater man. he directed a show of Andrew Lloyd Webber, it's music in concert, and I was in Denmark. And I don't know how they got into my name, what I've done. No, of course, because of the Oslo things, because they wanted me as a Norwegian to sing there, represent Norway, and we did concert there. And then he brought me to London for concerts there at the Albert Hall, Royal Albert Hall. So there I was singing with Elaine Page, you know, Judy Q, doing duets with them, and fantastic orchestra and 1,000 people in the choir, and amazing concerts we did. And after that, I did some TV things in BBC, you know, and then came Germany. Trevor Nunn asked me to do audition for Joe Gillis in Sunset Boulevard.
Yes.
And which didn't work out the first time, because then Uwe Kröger,
Oh, yes.
who's such a dear friend, he's become such a dear friend now. Not while we were working, really. Then we were, you know, we were, you know, doing that game, you know.
Yes.
And it was sort of fun, the game as well. But now we're just dear friends, and we just did a show together where he directed me even. Yeah, Tales of Two Cities, and was such a wonderful meeting again. Anyhow, and then when Uwe left Sunset, then they brought me down there to do Joe Gillis in Germany. And so then it's rolled, you know, then became Vienna, and I did Gigi with Gillian Lynn, also a fantastic experience. And then high society and beautiful theaters. And in Baden there as well, I did a captain, you know, in Blume from Hawaii. I don't know, it's what's it called in England. Abraham musical, and then Mozart.
You originated the role of Mozart.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
What was it like to originate such a role?
Well, I don't know whether I don't approach original musical where I create the part differently from when I do other roles, really, because it's the same process. You try to find sides in yourself or use yourself in all the roles that you're doing. But the difference is, of course, that you have the creative team, you have the composer, you have the author there, Sylvester Levay and Michael Kunze, and then you have Harry Kupfer, world famous director, you know. So we tried out things, and I was crazy at that time. I tried out everything I wanted, and they let me try out everything as well, you know. And it sort of, that role fitted me so well. I loved doing it. I loved the process of it. And the meeting of all the people, the creatives and the other actors, and it was just a fantastic time. So, but I've done a couple of originally as a new where I've created the roles. And back to your question, I don't think there's any difference in doing that from other roles, you know. You try to do your best in everything. And I haven't done roles where you have to stand. Usually it is, you know, you stand. Number 8, and then you look there and no, not that hand, you have to pull up that hand, move your head to that. I've been blessed not having to do that. also those shows that I've done where it's been done before in Broadway and West End, they've given me free, how do you say, free, yeah, freedom to do more or less how I see it within the frame, of course. How did you get into my, well,
And I found your work through Ethan Freeman videos.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah, I saw you interviewed Ethan.
Yes.
Yeah, he's a good friend. We don't see much to each other, but it's one of the colleagues whom I really admire. You know, each time we have gigs together, it's such a pleasure.
Yes, I saw some lovely videos over the years with van Engelen en Dumonen, and that's sort of work.
Sorry?
Van Engelen en Dumonen. The
Oh my God.
yes.
Yeah. 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 That was a good one. Yeah.
And the
All
Jesus
right.
Christ Superstar concert.
Sorry?
The Jesus Christ Superstar in concert was also a lovely.
Yes. My God. Well, we did it in Vienna,
Yes.
right? Yeah.
Yes.
Long time ago.
What was it like to work with Ethan in Mozart?
How it was?
Yes.
Oh, he's also mad. You know. Mm. So, oh, a lovely man, and also one of the few in the business who really dare to take chances, you know, in his acting choices, and of course his voice is fantastic, you know. It's yeah, I treasure him so dearly. Oh, I've heard so many, you know, when we've done concerts, you know, together, and I've heard him doing a lot of songs that I've never heard anyone else. Then, yeah, he sings them so much better than anyone else. Yeah, he's a wonderful, wonderful artist.
I mean, you did various versions of Jekyll and Hyde. What was the character like for you? How did
Oh,
you
that
see
was
it?
also a fantastic character. Oh my God. I've done, I don't know, 4 productions of Jekyll
Yes.
already.
Yes.
Yeah. And the first was in Cologne, and that was sort of the Broadway version. Amazing character, and I loved it to play those two. Ethan as well did it,
Yes.
Yes.
you know. Yeah, he did in Bremen.
See, it was the
And my
first
wife,
German. Yeah. It
sorry?
was the first German production with him.
Yes. And
Yes.
my wife, Lea de los Santos, she played his wife. You know, yeah. So, but then, yeah, so then I did it in Cologne, yeah. And yeah, marvelous role. My God, you can play on so many strings again, you know, completely different from anything else I've done. But you have to, you know, you have to serve the play, the character, and the craziness, the madness in it, you know, and try to find the human in all these characters. Um, I did Jekyll a couple of times later, yeah, and then I've tried to make those two Jekyll and Hydes, and yeah, but still you um, have to find the human side also in a character like Hyde, right?
Absolutely.
So it becomes, and in the other productions that I did, I've done them so it's, you know, difficult to see is it now Jekyll, is it now Hyde? Of course, when you know, the second act when it blends. But because there are always dark side in good characters, in good people, and there are also good sides in bad people, dark people, you know. So it's not interesting just to play black and white, you know. The fun is when it starts to mash, to me.
It must be such a special role to play because you're basically playing two characters who are the same but also different.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but again, all characters are built up with different
Yes.
sides, you know. You have different sides as well, you know, and I have a lot of sides, different sides, you know, and so it's not that hard, you know, when you think about it. You just have fun and yeah, go where the character wants you to go, you know.
He also performs the role of the Beast a lot
The Beast.
in Beauty and the Beast.
Yes.
Yes.
Again, with my wife. She was the first beauty in Germany with Uwe, you know, Uwe Kröger. And when they did it again, they wanted me as the Beast, and who else as the beauty? My wife.
Of course.
So yeah, also a wonderful character. But that is so. Of course, that's a Disney character. That's more like a written like a not cartoon, but it's more how do you say it, more pinpointed, the character. I try to do him you know, find the fun parts in it. It's also written pretty funny, you know,
Yes.
the dialogues and stuff. So that I tried to serve a lot. So it was nice to hear audience were laughing and laughing, you know. So, and then of course it gets sad. Again, you try to find all the sides in a character truthfully. Even though it's a Disney, you have to live truthfully, you know.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. And again, a wonderful rehearsal period that we had. Wonderful director in Broadway, Glenn Cassell. Yeah. Fun. Yeah. Thinking back now when you ask.
And Jesus, of course, and Jesus Christ Superstar was also a big
Yeah.
role.
Yeah, my God.
Yes.
And again, Jesus is, oh my God, you're going to play Jesus. But you have to, again, you have to treat him as a human, as you know, a normal character. And I think that's what Tim Rice and Lloyd Webber wanted as well, that it is, at least that's how I see him. It's a true person, and a lot of people when they play Jesus, they just act him like and sing him just like rock. You know, it's just you know, they do that type of the character. You know, to me that is Judas.
Yes.
Let them be the raw. You know, and you should not compete with that. Jesus is he's from God. You know, and he has this light going through him, and you have to really be very sharp in what you do and very clear. So because the how they've written it, how Lloyd Webber and Tim Rice wrote it, it's very short pictures, you know. It's not really a play, it's just pictures. And you have to be very, you can't really build it up as a normal musical scenes or character. You have to really be there right away in the expression of him. To me, Jesus is lyrical. His outbursting is not really a raw rock character that Cher can be in Evita and Judas, of course, and other characters, but not Jesus. To me, he's not. But he's also not a wimp. He's not just
No.
a softie. Far from it. But you have to let the people come to you as Jesus. That's how when I went through the rehearsal as Jesus, I tried also to be out there, completely the whole time, just out, and almost how do you say vergewaltige die Leute, also the audience. How do you say that? What is that word in English?
Overwhelmed?
No, when you vergewaltigen, you
Welcome.
rape. When you almost rape the audience. You try to be so big.
Yes.
But that's wrong. It was wrong. I rehearsed like that for several weeks until doesn't work. Doesn't work. The audience, my pupils, the people around me, they rather got scared of me, instead of wanting to listen. So I went a totally different way. Went just in myself and had to be concentrated, of course, even more concentrated in what you do. And then they come to you, and the same it was with the audience too. They come to you, and then of course you have your old outbursts as Jesus. A fantastic role. Oh, I loved it. And they did a wonderful production in Germany. This legendary theater festival in the summer, Bad Hersfeld it's called, and we played 4 years, so it was maybe the biggest success that they've had until now, still. So, and then I did it again in Vienna, yeah, a concert performance, and a little bit in London as well, in one of those concerts in Royal Albert Hall. Just a little bit of the Jesus there, of course. Yeah, fantastic.
I think it's one of those shows that will always remain popular because it's
Yeah,
story will always continue.
yeah. It's fascinating. Tim Rice told me that when they were in Australia, they did it. After London, they did it in Australia, and they needed full with lifeguards the whole time, full with lifeguards, because people were protesting, and threatening them how they can do a story of Jesus the way they do it, My God, they have created so much, huh?
Yes.
Yeah. And I did this Love Never Dies in the German production of it, and Lloyd Webber was there almost the whole time in the rehearsal period, and he kept on writing, new stuff for us, and he's one of the greatest artists ever that's been to me on the planet. He's extraordinary genius. He's such a theater person, theater composer. My God,
So much amazing work,
unbelievable.
and he's still creating.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Now he's written a new one.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, I can't wait to hear. Yeah, bless.
And it's operatic again, so that's going to be wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's going to be fun to hear. Yeah. Amazing. I have in the wall. I don't dare to show you though, because I'm not sure if I should say it, but whatever. You know, when we did Love Never Dies, there's just one room in that theater where we could actually sing and rehearse a bit. So I was there, and then, of course, he needed the room, so I couldn't say, of course, no, I want to practice. So, you know, he came in and with his assistant, you know, and doing stuff, you know. And then I waited outside, and when they were done, I went back in, and he said, you know, you can come back in and continue. Such a sweet man. But then on the floor, you know, he had crumpled some, you know, some music, you know. So I picked it up and I framed it. I don't know if I'm allowed to say it. Maybe I'm going to be sued now. I don't think so, but yeah.
Amazing memorabilia. What were some of your other favorite roles?
Oh, there's so many. Also, the last years I've been working a lot in a place called Gmunden in Austria. A wonderful, wonderful place by a lake, and they have this theater musical festival, musical Frühling, it's called. And there I've been 7 years now. I've did Rochester and Jane Eyre. John Caird written the lyrics for the musical. Fantastic role, fantastic role. Don't know if you know it. The
Yes.
musical is a gorgeous role, Rochester. And then I did again a new written musical of Vincent van Gogh, whom you of course know, where I played Vincent. Fantastic role. Gisle Kværndok, major talented composer, and whom I also did, you know, the what's called again, Name of the Roses. No, Name of the Roses. Yeah, Name of the Roses.
Yes.
The from the novel, right? That he also did a musical out of, and we played it in this huge, wonderful place in Erfurt in Germany, where I played the Sean Connery role. Hard, very hard. Such a difficult thing to do. So much thoughts that he had, you know, that character. But fun to do. And what else did I do there? Fosco was a wonderful Fosco in Woman in White.
Oh, yes.
Lloyd Webber. Oh, I enjoyed it. And I looked like I was 300 kilos, you know. Michael Ball did it in London.
Yes. And Michael Crawford.
And of course, Crawford did it. And then Ball. And I did it in here, then in Germany. We did it in Germany as well. And I had prosthetics, you know, everywhere. Here on the chin there and here and this suit, you know. And, oh, it was so much fun. God, it was fun. And then, yeah, and another thing of Gisle Kværndok as well. And what did we do now? We did, now we did Evan Hansen. I did the father there.
Yes.
that's a small part for me, but a wonderful piece. Oh my God. You know it?
Yes.
Yeah. Amazing. It's so nice to hear new musical coming up, like that, such a power in the music and in the story,
Yes.
God. And Zhivago, of course, Dr. Zhivago, wonderful role. More the story than the role, maybe. Because Zhivago is a very passive character, but
Yes.
fantastic story, music, and yeah. They are all nice, the roles.
Yeah.
They're my musical kids, sort of, all the roles, they're part of me. And yeah. And recently I also did a musical of Paul Brown in Germany. I also written this Tale of Two Cities, where I did Dr. Manette, where I could play, I played him like a 90-year-old, with gray wig and it was fantastic. I loved it. And Cats, of course, Gillian Lynn's.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Count of Monte Christo.
Sorry.
Count of Monte
Yes,
Christo.
as well,
Yes.
Yeah. It's been a lot, yeah. And then Cats also in other productions,
I saw one that looked completely different.
Sorry, yeah,
I saw
yeah.
a picture on your website.
Dannii is another a big choreographer in Germany, Austria. We did it in we did it in Tecklenburg in Germany as well, and in Switzerland. And she redid the choreography and everything, Also marvelous. Yeah, Gus, the theater cat, of course.
Yes.
Yeah. Wonderful. Weirdly enough, I wanted to do because I saw a production in Oslo of Cats 100 years ago, and I always wanted to do the theater cat. One day I want to be the theater cat because it's so romantic. It's all us, theater persons, actors, actresses, singers who, when we grow old, we still this person,
Yes.
and yeah, it was just I loved doing it.
And the song is so nostalgic. The sound, the music is so perfect for the character.
Yeah, and it's not Gus, that's not really sung. That's almost, that's why all these legendary actors could do it in England,
Yes.
And but then, as Gus in the production itself, you have to also be Growl Tiger, and that is also like an operatic.
Yes.
Yeah, you have to really sing, So it's and then you have Buster for Jones as well. That's right. That was fun. Oh my God. And I did the dancing. I'm not a dancer, at all. But I'm musical, and I've always been physical, So I did the dancing in Gillian Lynn's production as well, Gillian never saw me doing Cats, though, but I loved her, and she wanted to bring me to London, for Chitty Chitty Bang Bang and stuff like that. But it was in the time of Mozart, when Mozart moving from Vienna to Hamburg, and I decided to do it in, you know, Mozart in Hamburg, you know, and stay in Germany. But she wanted me for different things. We found each other so through this Gigi, you know, in Vienna. Oh, what a woman. And what an artist. Yeah. Have a horrible story, maybe, because when we rehearsed Gigi in the Volksoper in Wien, you know, I did Gaston there. And maybe Gillian thought I was more dancer than what I am, you know. So in front of the whole ensemble, you know, the ballet corps and everything, we were doing this scene where champagne and all things, and then dancing. And Gillian wanted to show something, you know, explain something for the dancer. And she, Yngve, come, with her big, wonderful, you know, eyes. And she started to dance. And, you know, she thought that I knew what it was about. Suddenly, Gillian fell on the floor, you know, and she must have been in her mid-70s already then. And the rehearsal was, no, we continued. My God, we continued the rehearsal. Still, she just stood up. Everyone were in shock, and me, I was completely, God. She continued rehearsal for a couple of hours, you know. And next day she comes to rehearsal with a cast.
Oh no.
Yeah, she had broken in here, you know, but somehow it was the cast, the whole there. Horrible, isn't it?
Yes.
But we became good friends even after that. So, bless.
What are some of your favorite stage memories?
Well, beautiful memories I have of all shows. Also in Baden when I did Blume von Hawaii, you know, a peculiar thing that I remember, but and a bit absurd because second act I start with I was playing the captain there, Captain Stone, and I had this beautiful white suit on, you know, and a white hat, and I so like a march thing, you know, beautiful song, you know. That but you know, the theater is built up in with different rangen, you know, the audience. So I was singing there, and I sing to the audience, and I saluted, you know, the audience, the older man sitting up there, you know, and they stood up and saluted me down, you know, you know. And probably people from the war, time of the war, you know. So it was a bit peculiar,
Yes.
weird stories, you know. But and they laughed, you know, when I talked about it to the people. They yeah, that's how it is, you know. Old, you know, were still people from alive, you know, from that time, you know. Oh my God, I don't want to go into that. And what else? One thing that I still remember doing Marius in Les Mis, and at one point, you know, the original, because I did it when Trevor Nunn and John Caird directed, you know, so is that long time ago? And but I was very young though, fair enough. And so I was lying downstage, and Jean Bonchon is singing his song, you know, Bring Him Home.
Yes.
But before that, we are, before that, we are in the barricade, some, shooting and stuff and blah, blah, blah. And up and down, and my trousers ripped from the front all the way to the back. And during the whole thing there, where everyone are on the barricade singing, and everyone asking, does anyone have a safety pin for Yngve? Something, his trousers are ripped. So, and no one got it. And I had to lie downstage, and we had white underwear. We had this theater underwear on. So it was white underwear with these black trousers that were ripped, and I tried to squeeze my legs in as much as I could. I still remember it. And while Sean Øystenvik, singing his "Bring Him Home," how he managed to do it, seeing me like that. And after that, he has to put me on his shoulder, carrying me down, into the sewers. Of course, horrible when you experience it, you want to just sink down, but now it's fun to think about. But and good, wonderful memories doing Jesus, in that place, and we're in the summer, where people are sitting outside the theater, listening, because you can listen, and they're sitting there with a picnic, having a picnic, with food and wine, and hundreds, each show. It's just wonderful stuff,
Yes.
Yeah. Just some memories.
Is there anything you want to include in this interview that has not been asked?
No, I still think I've been in the business so many years, and gone through also a lot, It's not always easy. And sometimes I've had to back out from wonderful shows, that I've been looking forward to do. And because the body says you have to take a pause,
Yes.
And but still, what I want to say is that I love my I can't even say it's a work. It's just my living, It's cliche. It's a state of living, isn't it? What you say? It's not. It's like it is who you are when you start with this business. You live it 24 hours a day, 24/7. You are this business, and I still love it. I feel so blessed to be able to do it, to play all these phenomenal characters in different times, circumstances. You can explore being in different times, epochen. How do you say that in English? Epoche is in different times,
Yes.
and you can truly explore that, and you explore different characters, historical characters and fictional characters, and you learn always something about yourself.
Yes.
Also a blessing in this business. It's you always grow and grow, or find different sides of yourself the whole time. It never becomes stagnant, It's always interesting, and I still feel like that. And
did you ever have a character that stayed with you for a long time in your life?
I think all of them. Can't say that Jesus is staying with me, You know, that's a bit to be too you know. But of course, even him, you know, it's all characters, because you open up different sides in yourself to play different roles, you know, you parts of yourself and explore parts of yourself. They are still there, you know. And now I'm taken out again the music of Mozart. You know, it took 10 years after I stopped with Mozart, which is where I got maybe known for a broad audience in down here. And it took, after I stopped Mozart, it took 10 years before I even sang a song again from it, because it was so close to me. And it became too it became too close, you know. And after, you know, this is another story. After the last show of Mozart, because I saw Mozart as a how do you say, um, not a bum, but he could have been a bum if he didn't have his wife. You know, he would have been living out in the street, I think, you know, not knowing how to live his life. He would have been on the street begging for money and stuff. And where I lived, after each show of Mozart, I walked always home, and there was a bum there living in his end 30s maybe. And he always sold these magazines, you know, these papers for beggars, you know, those who live on the street, you know. And I always bought some of him, you know, and gave him a little bit so he could buy himself some, you know, food and stuff. And after the last show, I didn't even go to the party of Mozart, you know, the Abschied party, the farewell party. And maybe it was also a scandal, of course, that I didn't show up. But I wanted to go home and be on my own, you know. So I walked again the same way, and he was there. And he came up to me, you know, and you know, strong smell he always had, you know, but a wonderful intellectual man, you know, and knew, as they all often are, you know, those who are not able to work in the society as we do, they, because they're too sensitive, too intellectual, whatever, you know. So and he came up to me and said, "How was your last show? Is it sad?" I had no clue that he even knew that I was playing it, you know. And so we sat and talked for maybe an hour before I then went home. And that was the end of the Mozart that time, you know. And I thought it was such a wonderful ending, you know, to talk to him. Anyhow, blah, 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 how I'm talking. Anyhow, now I'm doing these concerts in Shanghai with Sylvester Levay, the composer of Mozart. And his shows, you know, he's done so many shows.
Yes, yes.
Sylvester and Michael Kunze, you know. Anyhow, so I'm now freshing up Mozart again, you know, and it's still there, you know, and it's yeah, so it's back to your question. The characters are still with me.
Sylvester Levay and Kunze always have such deep musicals, I've noticed as well.
Again?
Such deep layered musicals with so many messages.
In what musical?
From Kunze and Levay.
Yes, yeah. They are. Oh my God! Now I'm you know, looking through the score again. Also just the musical aspect of it. My God, how wonderful he's written. Sylvester, you think it's just rock or pop thing, you know, but my God, how beautifully clever musically it is, how he's written it. Extraordinary. And of course, Michael with his genius, with all the stories, all the levels, you know, as you say. And that's why they also they're going to be timeless, you know. Now they have this huge market in Asia. You know, they just want their stuff the whole time, and so it talks to everyone. Their musicals, you know, because they are on so many levels, as you say. Geniuses.
I'm surprised they didn't go to their shows, didn't do more in America or England.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe they want. Maybe it was at a time where Les Mis and Lloyd Webber's, you know, more like a symphonic music, that the audience wanted that. I don't know.
Yes.
I don't know.
I heard that Andrew Lloyd Webber was a fan of Elizabeth.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. My God. I remember when we did also when we did the Love Never Dies, and we were out eating, and he couldn't stop talking about Hamilton. He said Hamilton is the best thing he's ever seen. It was like yeah. And this huge musician, artist, you know, he loves Elizabeth. He loves Hamilton. Isn't that amazing? You think that he wouldn't even listen to anyone else's music, that he's just in his world, you know? No. Amazing artist. God.
He is, and I'm glad that he is really back now with the new Sunset Boulevard and everything. That's really good.
Yeah. He redid it, yeah?
Yes. Well, the music is the same, but the staging is extremely different.
Oh, it is, yeah. I haven't seen it.
Yeah. I haven't either, but I saw so many bits of it and heard people talking about it. And
yeah. Of course, it has to be made simpler, because what we did back then, you know, it was so grand and so expensive, you know, the clothes. I mean, the Oscar, the clothes, the Jonathan, what was his name again? Jonathan, Oscar winning, you know, who did the clothes, you know, came to the Germany just to take my measurements. And Anthony Powell. I'm so sorry. I should have looked up his name. Anyhow, you know, coming and taking the measurements for the clothes that cost I don't know how much, you know, and the set, and oh my God. So and that one can't, of course, do anymore.
well, it's a real shame, because that grandeur is gone.
Yeah, but of course one can't.
Yeah.
Nowadays, though the tickets are, you know, so expensive to go to the big shows because of the set and the technical aspect of it. Yeah. So maybe they should, maybe they could. I don't know. Anyhow, it would be interesting to see the new version. Yeah.
I think it might come to Germany in the end, because so many big shows always do.
And so what?
I think it will come, the new version, to Germany in the end, because so many big shows do.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, then it's time to do God, what was his name again? The Max for me. Yeah. All right.
Thank you so much for this lovely interview.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
Great
Yeah.
talking to you. I love your memories and so many stories.
You pick what you want.
Yes.
I mean, one could sit and talk for hours, you know. So, but thank you so much. Yeah.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.
Behind the Mirror of Music with Dannii Cohen.